Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. The purpose of this video is to show you how to access ebooks from St. Paul Public Library using the Overdrive platform. Now, I will be recording this video, so you're welcome to open your own internet browser so that you can follow along. I think that's usually pretty helpful because I'm more of a hands-on kind of learner. So I would encourage you to open an internet browser on your own computer, have this video open in one screen and your own browser open in another so that you can be doing the steps as I'm going through. That way you can pause if you need to, you can rewind to make sure that you heard something right, but that way you're doing it in more of a hands-on format. So the first thing you want to do is I'm going to go from my Google homepage to the library website. So that's www.sppl.org. So that stands for St. Paul Public Library. Now this brings you to our library's website homepage. To get to Overdrive, which is again the platform that we're going to use for checking out our ebooks, I'm going to take my mouse and hover over this Books tab up at the top here. Now I don't want to click on it, I just want to hover over it. If you go down to eBooks and hover over that, you'll notice that we do have 3 platforms that you can check out ebooks through. You can either use the Cloud Library, Overdrive, or eBooks Minnesota. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to be focusing on Overdrive. So move your mouse over to Overdrive and click on it. That will bring you to our home page on the Overdrive website. So you can still see our logo up at the top here, but this is now the Overdrive website that we have. Now, since this is a video just for kids and teens, we're going to be focusing on how you guys can find books that are good for you. So the first thing you'll want to do is right up at the top here, you see this link that says Kids and Teens. Go ahead and click on that. And that brings you to our St. Paul Public Library Overdrive Kids and Teens website. This is going to show you books that are specialized. They're divided out into a couple of different areas. You're going to see either books called kids books or called juvenile books, and those are going to be for younger kids. If you are older, then you're going to want to either look for teen books or young adult books. So this is our homepage that you see right here. Right up at the top, you can see some new books that we have in, and so this will be updated pretty regularly to show you the new ebooks that we have. If you keep scrolling down, you're going to see some popular books that we have. That's what we call the top of the charts for our kids section. Your next great reads is going to tell you just some other books that are popular at the moment or that kids traditionally would like. And later down, we have new stuff for teens and top of the charts for teens, as well as next great read for teens. So the next thing that you're going to want to do so that you can make sure that you're accessing your account on here is you want to sign in, and you're going to do that using your St. Paul Public Library card. So please go ahead and grab that library card now because you will need the barcode number off of the back. You're going to go up to the top right corner up here and click on this Sign In button. Now that will bring you over to a web page where you can see right up at the top here, you sign in with your library card. So you want to type in your card number right here. It's that really long number on the back of your library card. So mine is 2209101480251. And I'm going to hit sign in. And that will bring me back to the Overdrive website. But now that you can see where it used to say sign in, it says my account. So I know I'm logged in. From the My Account page, you can look at any books that you've checked out under the loans area, or you can look at books that you've asked for on hold. So that's a book that wasn't available at the time and you wanted to get in line for being able to check that out next. You can also make a wish list of books that you want to read at some point. You can see some recommendations and you can access your settings through there. So let's say I know what book I want to look for. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this search right here. After I click on that, you can see that this search box pops up. And I'm going to type in, I want to find The Maze Runner, the book. So I'm going to type in The Maze Runner. You can see that there are going to be some suggestions that pop up here. So you could, if you wanted to, click on one of those. I'm going to go over and click on this magnifying glass here. Now what that's going to do is that brings up a bunch of different options for what that could be. You can see that the first book is right here, The Maze Runner. It also brings up the other ones that are in the Maze Runner series. So if I wanted to go into detail about the Maze Runner, this first book in the series, I'm going to click on the book here. And you can see then this is the book page. So it will give you up at the top here the title, you can see the author, it's in an ebook format. Now this has been rated traditionally 4 stars out of 5, which means that it's probably a pretty good book. If you wanted to read more about what the book actually talks about, there's a description right down here. You can see the first part of it here, but then if you're wanting to read more of the description, click on this little downward facing half arrow, and that will pull up the full description. If you keep scrolling down then, you can see that there are some subject tags that are associated with this book. So this tells you a little bit about what the book is going to be. We can see that it's a fiction book, which as you'll remember means that it's not something that really happened. Our fiction is made up stuff versus nonfiction is stuff that actually happened in real life. It can also be described using the tags of suspense, fantasy, and young adult literature. If you wanted to go into more detail about the book, you can feel free to click on details and expand that. That'll tell you who the publisher was, when it was released in all of its different electronic formats. To close that back up, you're just going to click on details again. You can also expand each one of these. One thing that I think is really cool, if I know that I've liked The Maze Runner and I'm looking for books that might be kind of similar, Overdrive has a You Also May Like area right on the Maze Runner's page. So this will show me some other books that may be interesting to me if I liked that. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top here. One more thing that's cool about this book description page is you can see right here, this is actually a link, and if I click on the Maze Runner series book 1, that will bring me to every book that is described as being in the Maze Runner series. So you can see that there are 6 books that pull up there. Now you will notice that some of the books say available up at the top of the image that they have there, and some say waitlist. Now the ones that are available are just like in a physical library when you're wanting to check out a book. It would be as if the book is on the shelf and you can get it right then. The ones that say waitlist, again, it would be if you're at a physical library and you wanted to check out a book but it's not there right now, so you have to put it on hold. So if you were wanting to look for other books, let's say you didn't quite know what specific book you wanted, you weren't, say, looking for a specific title or a specific author, but you kind of just wanted to look and see what the library has available for you. One cool way to browse that is by clicking up here on this subjects link. So if I click on that, you'll see that it has the books divided out into juvenile fiction ebooks, juvenile nonfiction ebooks, young adult fiction ebooks, and young adult nonfiction ebooks. So what that will do is if you know, let's say you want a young adult fiction book, so you want something that didn't really happen, it's just someone telling a story, and you're looking for something funny, you can click on this humor fiction link right here, and that will bring you over to all of the books that have the label young adult fiction and humor fiction. So looking at these books here, those would all have those labels. Now let's say you can see that some of the first 4 that pulled up here, you would all have to be on the wait list, but if you were looking for something that you wanted to check out right now, you can scroll up to the top here and you can click on this filters label. Now you can see that the tags pulled up already that we had selected, so we knew it was a young adult fiction book, and we had chosen that we wanted the humor fiction book. But if I wanted to just see books that were available for me to check out right now, I can go down to this availability right here and click on available now. So that gets rid of all the books that wouldn't be available for you to check out in this moment that you would have had to be on the wait list for, and just lets you select the ones that you could check out in this moment. Now, another cool way for you to find what could be a good book, right now we have it sorted by date added. If you click on in this area, you'll see a bunch of different ways that you can sort it. So you could sort it by alphabetically by title, you could sort it by release date if you wanted to see what had come out maybe in 2017. But for our purposes, we're going to sort it by popularity, which means that when it refreshes and it pulls up the list of books, you're going to see the most popular books, the ones that have been checked out the most, pull up first. Now you can see that I have already borrowed off the page, and so that shows up with a borrowed because that one I've already checked out. But let's say that you wanted to check out Walk Two Moons. You can either click on this borrow link right here, and that would check it out to you, or you can click on this homepage or on this book description page here, and then you see that this says borrow for 21 days. Now 21 days is going to be the default time that a book is checked out to you. After you borrow it, when 21 days are up, it automatically gets returned, which is really nice because it means that you don't have to worry about making sure you bring it back to the library in time so that you can avoid fines and have it back in by its due date because it's automatically going to return. So if I want to borrow that, I'm going to click on borrow for 21 days. And you can see that this title is now checked out to me. So I can either click right here to go to my loans page, or I can click up here on see options for the title on your loans page. Now this is my loans page here. You can see that I can borrow up to 50 books at a time. And I have both Walk Two Moons and Off the Page checked out. Now you have a couple of options after you have checked out your books for how you want to read them. You can either download them in either a Kindle book format or an EPUB ebook format, or if you don't have an e-reader and you're just wanting to read on your computer, you can click on Read in Browser. And what that does is it pulls up the electronic book right in your internet browser. You're going to navigate this book using the arrow keys. So when I press the right arrow key, it turns the page forward. You can just scroll through. Or if I press the left arrow key, that brings you back. Now, one other cool thing, if you click right in the center of the page, that will bring up a menu. So that shows you first off how far you are into the book. So we're on screens 21 and 22 out of 944. Another cool thing that you can do, if you click on this A up here, that lets you adjust the way that you're seeing the book. So let's say that I didn't want this bright white background. Right now it's set on this day lighting. If I click on this middle lighting here, you can see that that brings up a yellow background, which is a little easier on the eyes. Or if you're reading at night, you can have a black background as well. So I'm going to set it on this yellowish, kind of easy on the eyes setting. If you scroll down here, you can also change the font that you'll be reading your book in. We do have an open dyslexic font, which is specially designed for people with dyslexia to help them be able to read. And we also have the ability to choose a custom font. If you're wanting a couple more options, you can change the line spacing if you're wanting to have a little bit more spacing between the lines. And up here at the top, you can see the text scale. So you can either make it smaller or you can make it bigger. After you have your font choice that you want, you can go ahead and hit done and then click back in the middle of the page and you can keep on scrolling through. So after you've read for a while, again, if you decide that you wanted to change it, you click right in the middle, go up to the A, and then you can make your changes from there. So I'm going to go back to I'm going to close out of this book. So this brings us back to our loans tab that we had open still. Now, like I said, it does automatically return the books after 21 days, but if you finished a book and wanted to return it early, you can go ahead and click on this return button right here. After you click Return Title, then it's automatically returned. Now there are different apps that you can use. If you have an Android, you can use the Overdrive app on your Android phone, on your iPhone, and we will have separate videos for those, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But this has showed you a little bit of how to use the Overdrive library to check out your ebooks. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. You have my contact information through the library. Feel free to go up and ask any of the librarians. We would be more than happy to help you with this. Thanks so much for tuning in.